not the, well, let me plug in the microphone. Wonder what that sounds like if I plug in the microphone in the middle. I mean, what better way to tell the difference between the microphone? Come here, Corey. It's back in the bus voice. Beautiful. Uh, and what better way to tell the difference in sound quality? I don't think there is much difference, frankly, than to do this. Okay, let's put this right about here. God forbid you should miss a centimeter of my gorgeous face. Oh, you're gonna be difficult. You need adjustment. Well, too bad. You're not getting adjusted. There, maybe I can talk quieter. Does my voice sound different? Maybe I can talk more quietly. See, that's proper English. Because it is 11:56 at night. It's very quiet around here. All I can hear is the lady upstairs coughing her lungs out and stomping around a little bit. Nice lady. I shouldn't have. When I was in the throes of Xanax withdrawal, I was just, Stampy, which is actually a very nice lady, and would be a good tenant if it wasn't for that one. It's not her fault. She's got fibromyalgia. Anymore, that's my fault that I got CRPS. It's just something that happened. But yeah, maybe this isn't the best idea. Um, Me getting on here when I'm like this, but I did make a video just chronicling a few odd things that happened. But this is like this is serious depression. This is like I'm in a cave and in a coal mine. It's the best way to describe it. And I think um, there's a difference between being a loner and loneliness, right? Like I thought this dude that lives upstairs that's been kind of MIA for a while. I thought he was a loner with no entertainment. Okay. He had, first of all, it was his sister that was on the lease, and his sister let this guy move in, and then this guy, who I just called the war vet, took over the apartment and threw her out and started singing "Hit the Road, Jack, and don't come back no more, no more, no more." And then who knows, because of his, you know, and his what the real story is behind all that, whether he really was paying all the bills or whatever. But he didn't have any electricity because she had that shut off and it was in her name. So he was just sitting on the porch and walking down the street and charging his phone at the Arby's. Well, I didn't know anything about this because I was like, I gotta avoid this guy. This guy's got a really bad reputation. So, and I'm trying to deal with my own problems, so I gotta avoid this guy. And I've already told that story of how the ghost cat screwed me over, and the whole avoidance thing went down the toilet. So I'm like, you don't even have any electricity up there? He's like, I haven't had any electricity up there for over 2 months. So I'm like, I'm gonna get you an extension cord and run it out the window, and that way you can charge your phone and not have to keep running back and forth to Arby's to get your phone charged, you know. And he told me that I went through his mind because I don't know, people are like never nice to him or whatever, that I did that because I wanted to steal his charger. And he told me that, he's he said, I know it's a sick thought. And I'm like, yeah, because my phone doesn't even take that kind of a charger. Mine's an Android. It's different. It uses Android. It's different than the charger. He goes, yeah, yeah, I know. It's just a sick thought that I had, you know. So I sort of developed this relationship with this dude, and you know, I kind of know because I'm like 17 years older than him. I kind of know like his history because he's. I know his mom. I know his grandmom. I know all that. You know, so I kind of know more about him than he thinks I know about him. You know, so he'll get hammered and like divulge these deep dark secrets that I already know. You know, and be like I shouldn't have told you that. I shouldn't have laid that upon you. Man. It's like, well, okay. And I'll be like, it's no big deal. But um, so I thought, like the dude just didn't have any entertainment, you know. But then I started like talking to him, and um, at first I wouldn't even. I just opened the window and talked to him through the window and listened to Drunken Philosopher Hour, which I don't know if you ever talking to a lot of people who are seriously hammered and they think they're trying to say something so profound, and it's really rough when they start using metaphors because it's like, um, okay, I'll just be honest with them. I told them, I said, about 75% is getting through tonight, you know, or whatever. And you don't. Then one blessed day, he got his electricity. He's like, I got my electricity on. He's all excited about it. He said, now all I gotta do is get a TV. And I was like, well, I can sell you my TV for like $150. He goes, yeah, I want to do that. But then it's an expensive hobby. So finally, I just gave him the TV. Okay. And I bought him a cheap DVD player, all the stuff I've said before. Then I bought him a PlayStation. It really wasn't about that. I was dealing with a lonely person. You can be a loner and be lonely at the same time. But I thought, like, you know, the dude was a loner with no entertainment but to sit out on the porch and use my electricity to use the phone. And then I'm like, after I was talking to him for a while, this is where compassion will get you, and why the Apaches and the Comanches would say compassion is weakness. But I was just trying to get him like off the porch. It's like I have a life. I have things I want to do. I don't want to talk to you for hours when you're hammered and try to work my way out of the conversation. And like his grandmother told me, just lock the door against him. And I'm like, that would be like the dumbest fucking thing I could do. It's like that would be like just another rejection, another betrayal. It's like that's not. I'm in too deep now. It's like I can't like. He would have to do something evil for me to justify that. Right, my nose itchy. But anyways, I was thinking about being a loner and then loneliness because I had him judged as a loner without any entertainment that was just hanging out on the porch. But then when he has entertainment, and then I got him, he has stuff to do. You know, he needed a friend. He was lonely. So, uh, yeah, not that I don't get lonely, because like I get lonely, but I'm a loner more or less. I'm just kind of used to it. This is a different. This is a person that did not get enough affection and was treated badly growing up, and just didn't get that love. And it's like a person that needs loved is more likely to be that lonely cat. My mother loved me. my father, in his own sick way, also loved me. He just couldn't express it properly because he wasn't raised right. But he did actually love me, you know, which adds to the tragedy, I suppose, of the whole not talking for 13 years before he died and all the rest of it. But yeah. So, anyways, I'm like I said, like I'm in a deep, dark cave right now, man. I'm just like everything is just too much. So, like, I haven't eaten in a 24-hour period. I managed to eat two English muffins with honey on it. That's it. And like bedridden with depression, paralyzed with it. And I know the way out of that, and it's like a rock and a hard place because the way out of that is to get up and to do stuff, and that's why I say it's the hardest thing in the world to make yourself do stuff when you're depressed. All you want to do is just lay there and die. And I don't even want to get out of bed to eat. And I know though, when I get out of bed, I know how to do, from being 51, going on 52 years old, I know how this works and how you have to force yourself to do stuff and stuff. It's like, and then the knee, and then the bad legs, and then the pain, and then like the CRPS from here down, and it's really bad. Like this area right here, yeesh, is really bad, you know. And I try to talk my way out of it on here sometimes, and I tried like uh, I I try to like do that emotional alchemy and spin that rancid straw into gold, but the wheel is broken. There's a good, if I was drunk, that would be like a perfect metaphor where people are like, "Ah, the hell are you talking about?" But this is like all I can do, I guess, is talk. I need to get up and eat. I can't do it. You know, at some point, excretory functions will take over and force you out of bed. But yeah, it's like what I'm what I'm lonely for mostly is like there's no one that really can understand living with this and like understand me at the same time. So what I'm lonely for is like earlier today I tried, I try to like I'm gonna use my words obviously type of guy. So I'm trying to talk to somebody. It's like I got two people, maybe three people I can talk to. No, really, I got three people that I can talk to that are like at least somewhat safe. Like the cop friend, super safe guy to talk to. But I can't drag him down into this cave. He won't go there. I don't blame him, you know. Um, Also, there's that barrier of belief between us because he's like a fundamentalist Christian, and I'm like an eclectic believer in God. So his he would be like, "You want me to pray with you?" I think I told him before. I don't pray. I just don't do it. Uh, I've never met a grizzly bear in person, so I can't say for sure that I would never pray. But yeah, I didn't pray when I met a rabid, uh, not rabid, but like a 150 to 175 pound Rottweiler that was seriously interested in emasculating me, literally, and then devouring me. Uh, I wasn't thinking about prayer. Like, please God, don't let this dog kill me or anything like that. Um, I just not part of my belief system. So, anyways, I got that golf with that guy, and then this other person I got grew up like in a damaged like household situations. So when I talk to that person, like I did today, and reach out to them, it's like you get them little barbs and stings. Like start making assumptions and saying stuff that like never even entered my head at all because I was talking about, what I just talked to you about. I thought the guy was a loner. He's just a very lonely person looking for a friend. And she she was like, well, you can't be mad at people for not being what you expecting them to be, and it's like, I know it's just maybe like not being careful with words or whatever, but it's like, no, it's like, it's not about that at all. It's not like I was wanting, it kind of echoes something that her boyfriend said to me at a very bad time. It's like you can't expect people to do what you want them to do or act how you want them to act. It's like it wasn't really about that at all. It was like I just kind of misinterpreted a human being. Just that's all it was. It's like if anything, I feel sorry for the guy, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna let him, lay his hands on me or uh, mistreat me and not come back at him or anything like that. And the third person that I talked to also talks to. We all grew up together, so he also talks to my foster brother, who is a big part of my depression because I'm done with him. I'm just done. Um, I looked it up on the Ohio boat code thing, and all he had to do is sign the damn title and put it in the boat. You know, that's all he had to do. It's up to the buyer. Then whoever has the title with his signature can sell the boat. Then it's up to the buyer to do uh, to go to the notary and to do whatever it takes to get the craft on the water. So why is this title right now at this very moment lying on the porch like garbage, still in his name? You know, it's like, does he? Did he? Why is he not? What was keeping him from signing it? It's like was it too much not giving a fuck, or is it something more sinister? Like, he knows my nature. Where I'll be like, well, it's in your name anyway. Just sell it, get what you can for it. Because he grew up super poor, which makes him um, very materialistic type of person. And that's another thing about it is like with people, it's like you kind of, it's like it's with my dad. It's like you kind of can understand where they're coming from, so you can forgive stuff to a point. But at what point are you like, I think the point is if you call them out on it and you let them know what's up, and they still behave the same way. It's like I know where you're coming from. I know you grew up starved and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, I'm talking to this third, because I got three people. So I'm talking to this third person, and I guess my foster brother had already talked to him and gave him an earful about the boat thing, and he's like, I don't want to get in the middle of that. But I said, well, you don't got to worry about getting in the middle of it anymore because that is over. I didn't use the classic phrase, he's dead to me. I'm like, me and him are over, so you ain't got to worry about that anymore. And yeah, when you have like because of the way I grew up with all that illness and stuff, like everybody kind of like fell away, you know. It was kind of like when a tree is tottering in the woods and everybody just steps back and walks as far away from it as possible so they don't get hit by it. I kind of think that's what my older sister did, 20, 12, 27, 17, and she's just like, that's enough, you know. Um, but everybody did that to me when I was young. Like, what little associations or friendships I had, they evaporated. So I had like very few left. And my foster brother over there, probably sleeping right now, like a baby. Uh, yeah, less than a third of a mile away. Um, and I moved into this neighborhood to try some crazy idea I had about us being friends and brothers, and rekindling the better times in our lives or whatever. It was all like, it was all a delusion and fantasy and nonsense I had in my head, you know, not seeing what was before me. Because when we lived together in our 20s and we didn't get along, it was because he was all about this and he was all about himself, you know. And I mean, that's when we were in our early 20s, and that's like just goes to show that your personality is formed at a very young age. So I think when his mom got thrown in jail, he came to live with us around the age of 12, something like that. He already thrown into a survival situation so much, that's just who he is. But I'm just tired of, it's just a betrayal thing that um, you know, I don't know how I would act if he would be like, "Oh man, I'm sorry, I fucked up your boat," and I'm sorry that I like didn't ask you to put it outside and I didn't take care of it and I ruined it and I spoiled the sale and stuff. But instead, what I get back is like irritation that his mom had to deal with the war vet that one day, which I was doing everything to cool the guy down. I couldn't talk him out of going over there. It wasn't going to work. I was like, that's what, when a matriarch, the one that did 7 years in prison, called me and was like, hey, like, I thought you said, well, kind of gave me an earful. It's like, you think I can stop him? I can barely walk. I can't stop him from doing whatever he wants to do. He, what am I going to do? Tackle him? You know? I explained to her, like, I talked to him, I put coffee in him, I put volume in him, and I told him, like, you don't want to go over there and cause trouble. It's just not going to help. And I talked to him on the phone, and he was telling me that he just doesn't like being estranged from his family and feeling alone and all this stuff. Now, whether that was all just a bunch of bullshit, and he just wanted to go over there and make a big scene and stand out in the street and abuse himself and express his pain at the way he was treated that way, I don't know. But thank you, universe, for throwing this my way, having to deal with this stuff. And then it's just like, I don't know. No one wants to say this is my nadir, this is my low point, or whatever. But this is bad, man. And I'm awake and I can't sleep. And I got like 8 o'clock in the morning. I all I gotta do is sit and talk. I mean, I don't have to do nothing. But you know, M is gonna show up here. That should be in here cleaning up this place, and I will eventually walk around here, which I already tried to do, but I couldn't get the camera thing to work on the phone and show you what this place is like. And I was trying to make something a little bit more upbeat, where I was like joking about it and saying, uh, when I move out of here, I'm going to take the black crayon and write over the door, uh, abandon all hope, all ye who enter here, like it's the gates of hell. Since I've had so much fun here for the last 5 years. And yeah, earlier in the day, before I took some Valium, I didn't remember when's the last time I took it, because I just haven't been keeping track. Once I decide, like, I'm not going to try in earnest to quit that benzo shit until I'm in a stable environment, until I'm not dealing with madness and crazy landlords and crazy people. And, just all this freaking drama to where I can get in a stable, quiet area and heal. It's just stupid for me to even attempt that here, you know. And I was doing pretty good as far as like when I was still charting it and stuff. There was days where I didn't take any volume. It's still in your system because it has a fairly long half life, but there's days where I didn't take any. There's days where I took 5 milligrams of it, and then that was before me and my landlord ran afoul of each other and I got sprayed with poison, and then there was all that acrimony and hatred and me ripping up $100 bill to prove a point, and um, this nonsense with my foster brother, and before all this crap happened, you know. So yeah, yeah. It's funny because I just was like not wanting to get out of bed, so I'm watching this show called A Football Life, and it's about the Barber twins that played pro football, Tiki Barber for the Giants and Rondé Barber for the Buccaneers, and they were like never alone, you know, and it made me feel lonely, you know. It made me feel lonely, and it kind of makes me feel sad that the only person that I can like trust and be me around is me. I'm not a twin. I am not Gemini. Don't have a split personality. My personality is integrated. Um, so yeah, that's like the wrong thing for me to watch in the state of mind I'm in now. And if you don't mind, let me get a stick of gum. Might help with the cotton mouth and stuff. But I, anyways, I was starting to say I wasn't keeping track of how much benzos I was taking. So I think I got a little taste of withdrawal today, and I was like, man, because I felt the sickness in the stomach, and I felt like that big, oppressive, invisible hand that just presses down upon you. It's only way, it's a weird way to describe the way I feel when I was going through withdrawal. And it's like I know it's different for other people where they feel like they're crawling out of their skin and they're just like, But for me, it's just like I said, like a big invisible hand is pushing me down and like immobilizing me to where I'm like getting some. I have to get some weird state of mind, like a hypnosis type of thing. But I was like, yeah, this is like the last time I felt this was in November. Because if you're watching this, you probably are familiar with the meth trade business that went down here last summer, and how I was down to 7 milligrams for the month of June of Xanax, and then again, just the the branch breaks underneath my feet and I fall. It's just like circumstances just boom, you know. So meth trade opens up here, and I hold tough through that. I have that good June. The meth trade was going on in June while I was taking the 7 milligrams, and each month up a little bit, but didn't get too crazy about it. But then after I think the squatters were kicked out here in August, and then September, like 2 weeks after that, um, one of the people that I trusted um, got really really ill and looked like they were gonna die, and so that was like in the middle of September, and then October rocketed up like to from 7 milligrams to like 50.5 milligrams for the month of October. And then when I went back down in November, that is when the last time I tasted, honest to God, withdrawal, because I was cutting my dose back down. And then in December, finally, somebody in the medical community who's familiar with Heather Ashton and the Ashton Manual said, hey, this guy needs some volume. So I started getting a steady supply of volume. So I haven't had to really deal with that withdrawal. The idea is to taper me very slowly off of the volume. It's like they wanted me to start out at ridiculously high levels of volume, and I'm like, no, don't need it. Not gonna take it. I'm not taking those 70 milligrams of volume a day. Uh, uh you know. So I was dumb. I'm honest, which sometimes is dumb. Um, so I showed my chart to the guy who was prescribing the volume, and I was like, there's how much I'm taking. And he's like, you're doing really good. And then like all this stuff happens, and I go in there, you know, and get sprayed with poison. Total hostile relationship with the landlord. Um, War vet, uh, boat thing, ruined relationship of a lifetime. We've known each other our whole lives. And I go back in there, and I thought he was gonna up my dose on stuff, and he's like, nope, same dose, which is probably wise, an afterthought. But I was like, I was like, I'm losing my marbles here. I mean, I'm losing it. He was like, yeah, but you were doing really good. You were doing so good. And I'm like, that was 3 months ago. I was like, I got a guy here that's actually painting the building with his own blood. He's like, well, I'll see you in a month. And I said, yeah, if I'm alive in a month, you know, it's serious. This guy's got some PTSD going on. And I don't know. Like I said, that's probably not the best idea for me to get on here. But especially when I already made a video like that was more upbeat. Like it, I can tell you one of the funnier things from that, which is I uh, the war vet guy knocks on the door, and He says, "You want to come out on the porch and sit with me?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I was holding my hand on my wall, and I said, "I forgot my cane again." He goes like, "Yeah, you do that a lot." I said, "But I haven't fallen in a very long time, so um, you know." There should actually be a sign behind me that says 218 days with no accidents in the workplace, you know. And he laughed because it's funny. And so I go, after saying that, he walks around, goes and sits down on the porch. And I walk out, I open the window, hand him something, or I forget even what. And I turn around and fall down within like a minute or two of bragging. So I just start laughing, but I weigh 185 pounds. That makes a significant thud. So he hears it and he jumps up and he's like, "That's not funny, man." I'm like, "Yeah, it is. It's funny as hell." Anyways, I got hurt a little bit, and I skinned my knee and on the carpet. I don't know how you skin knees on carpet, but I hit pretty hard. I skinned my left knee on the carpet, and I hyperextended my the fingers on my left hand. I made the mistake of trying to catch a chair, which the thing of it is like if when I used to be more in touch with my lower half and have like a better idea of what's going on down there, so to speak, um, you can do that. You can feel you're just a little bit off kilter, so you can just like steady yourself. But now I can't tell the difference between free fall, where you should just go with it and fall, and you always try to land on your side, your shoulder, and your hip if your ass isn't an option to land on. Um, and just go with your fall, and then you don't get hurt. You don't reach out with your arm like an idiot like this and break your wrist and stuff like that. But I can't tell the difference anymore, so uh, I'll grab a hold of things sometimes just because I don't, well, I think I expressed that properly. But anyway, so that didn't help me. I grabbed the chair, caught my fingers up in the chair somehow, and hyperextended my fingers on my left hand. And, uh, he's just like, that's not funny, man. And it's like, that's the first signs of any kind of like compassion or niceness I've ever seen from that guy. And I said, but I was laughing. I was like, yeah, it's funny. It's funny as hell. I just said that, and it's like, God does not appreciate bragging. How dare you brag about not falling? It'll make you fall within like a minute. And anyway, so yeah, that was funny. I don't remember. I don't even remember what I said in the other video, um, or some of the stuff I talked about. It's like it's tough when you're like. I imagine it's like a thing that people that are raw from the whole benzo experience can certainly relate to. Is like being afraid to talk to loved ones. That's an awful freaking thing. Let me say that one more time with the glasses off. That is an awful thing. Where you're like, you just want to talk to them, but you're afraid to talk to them because, like, what they're going to say. Yeah, stuff that, like, nothing used to affect me, which is, it's like, I obviously wouldn't have had a long relationship with that guy if stuff affected me easily. But, and then I think, like, when I read what I read in the text, where the assumptions are being made, and it's like you can't expect people to behave the way you want them to just because you want them to, and stuff that's like critical. It's like why are you being critical of me when you're wrong anyway? It's like I didn't expect nothing. I just misjudged the dude. That's all. I didn't say wasn't trying to manipulate him. I mean, I may have gave that impression in another video where I was like, I'm just trying to get him to go upstairs, but really I just thought he didn't have any entertainment. Just, obviously you can't set up a 50-inch TV outside and watch movies on it, so, he's gonna go upstairs. Um, shit, the dude's already talking about, like, wanting to live together and stuff like that. It's like, you know, it's like, why don't you just change your apartment number and then substitute his apartment number? And, like, yeah, it's like, if you get help, but I know a lot of people that don't get help for the things that they need to get help for. I try like a motherfucker to get help from everything, and it just doesn't seem to work out. You know, I guess you should throw in some news items in this while I'm in this cave, looking at this little shaft of sunlight, like over here, like peeking through the darkness. But I go to the doctor or my primary caregiver on the fifth, and I got like a another orthopedic surgeon from the one aide I call M, and she said she's known like 3 or 4 people that this guy has worked on, and he's good, you know, and because she's got upcoming surgery with him on her back, and she was talking about the guy like changing up on her and saying, "Well, we're gonna have to make an incision on the front of you and stuff like that." And I said something about second opinion. She's like, "No, no, this guy's good." It's like I know a lot of guys or a lot of people that this guy has worked on, and she's like, "Well, why don't I give you your number?" Because she knows my story about 6 months of trying to get my knee fixed, and nobody and 2 surgeons didn't want to operate on it or do anything about it. You know? So when I go in there, I'm going to ask my doctor to give me a referral to this guy. Maybe this guy will do this arthroscopic meniscus surgery, I think it's called. That I'm sorry I forget your name, dear, but um, if I doubt she's listening anyway, but just in case. But she said, you know, she couldn't believe I've been suffering with Baker cyst for like 4 years. They fixed her in months, and it's never bothered her again. Which, you know, she could just be fortunate, or it could just be another scenario or whatever. But with me, you know, as you have seen from my video of me walking, it's threatening to put me in a wheelchair because the amount of pain involved is more than I can endure. Um, and the knee blows up and stuff, and it's like the only thing I can do for my CRPS to keep my strength up is to keep moving and to keep walking. I saw a chair across the street in the garbage. We needed a chair on the porch because I remodeled that one, you know, broke the metal handle off of it. And so I was like, I'm going to go get that chair. And it turns out that the wooden peg was already loose in it, and I would need like wood glue, and it just didn't seem like it was worth the bother. And it had cat scratches like way up on it, like these people own a bobcat or something. But it was like, it wasn't like what I would call a bed bug risk type of chair. You know, it was like a vinyl, wasn't fabricy. You know, so that was hard for me just walking across the street. You know, like with just a cane and not a walker. So I'm in deep shit. I know I'm in deep shit. I need to get this knee worked on. I need to get it worked on yesterday, and I should already be rehabilitating it. I just not a lucky person when it comes to these sort of things. But you know, I just sort of think of it part of the why the Cleveland Clinic guy is the fucking Cleveland Clinic would not operate on my knee is I got bad credit. Bad credit in I'm a bad credit risk in the form of CRPS and a heart condition, and like yeah, I don't really want to operate on this guy because like he's already got a lot of issues, and malpractice insurance pretty steep. Um, yeah, so yeah, it's like it's just a cavalcade of just nothing going right. It does get to you after a while, no matter who you are, how resilient you are. I may be Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, and I don't even understand that reference. Or a Pollyanna, another reference. I don't understand. I didn't read those books. I think there's kids books or something. But I mean, after a while, when the stuff just keeps getting piled on you, like and piled on you and piled on you, like I said, man, you just feel like you're in a hole and getting dirt shoveled on you. You feel like you're in a cave in and you don't know how to get out of it. I got a situation where my house is a complete disaster. I got I got people that can't come in my house unless I get a certificate saying that it's clean from bed bugs, which they would have to have one, I think, for the whole building, anyways. I don't know. It's going to be a big hassle because I'm going to have to call my Care Source insurance lady. Everybody's telling me call her, they'll take care of it. I already called her and left a message. I don't even know if I got any callbacks because my phone, I didn't have a phone for like 10 days. But she wasn't giving me any callbacks when my phone was working on the subject. And so I'm kind of leery about letting anybody in here because, I, I mean, it looks like this guy can't take care of himself. He needs like an assisted living situation or whatever. It's yeah, it may be all in my head, like, that it's just because that's why the aides are here to help you out. I don't know, you know, I don't know. It's like, I just have a feeling that if I call a Care Source, it's going to be like a big freaking hassle, you know. But a little heart palpitation there. But it's supposed to. They're supposed to take care of that according to all these aides from this agency that the Care Source people hooked me up with. That these people are supposed to come in here and help me around the house and stuff. And like, if you're really old and messed up, they'll like bathe you and they take care of old people. Which, I ain't young, but I feel ancient. But I'm still only 51 years old chronologically. And people always tell me I look young. It's that oil of Olay. Um, then like I'm I was focused on the knee and trying to get stuff done with the knee, so now I have to go to the dentist after like they had a partial plate made for me in December when I had like heart arrhythmia, and I actually canceled my appointment from the ER room like before I got shocked. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be coming in today. I got other plans. So, you know, I don't even have that many teeth left. And anyways, dude, even I stress about like pain, the pain, because that's one pain I can't deal with. I've been like I've been using Ambosol just because I don't know if they're sensitive teeth or it's almost like a neurotic habit. But yeah, this sucks, man. I mean, good lord. I can't imagine why anybody would want to listen to something like this, but uh, maybe misery loves company. I don't know. But yeah, I figure maybe like if I can talk my way out of this somehow, I can get up and eat, get in a couple hours sleep, and be not completely miserable sitting on the porch in the cold because it's cold around here. It's August and it's 57 degrees in northern Ohio. That's not a good sign. I mean, this could be like a brutal winter we got coming too. Um, but yeah, 50, you don't. It's August. You don't get 57-degree lows generally speaking in August. The, it's weird. Okay, August is your dog days of summer. Your hot months around here are July, August, and usually the beginning of September, and then boom. But the weather's crazy nowadays. It was much more stable and reliable when I was younger. Just the way it was. I don't, I'm not going to have any climate change discussion things. I just remember the way things were. It's like there was a definite demarcation lines in the seasons, and now it's just all blurred. It's like winter was goddamn winter, It's like when them snows hit the ground, they stayed on the ground, sometimes for 2 months at a time. You could build snow forts, and nowadays it wouldn't be worth the effort to build a snow fort because it would be melting before you got done. If the snow stays on the ground 2 weeks around here in the wintertime, that's a long time. I remember, like, so, you know, my childhood was so bleak, and the way me and my brother describe it was just utter bleak hopelessness, like being in a desert where there was no oasis or nowhere to look for anything. And that's I remember about winter when I was a child because I wasn't all about the snowball fights and playing in the snow and all that stuff. So I was a fisherman, so when those snows fell and it was like, oh my god, because you knew they weren't going anywhere. But now I actually, of course, like it better this way. The snows, you get a melt, you get a melt, But I wouldn't be surprised if I'm even uh, underestimating how long the snow stayed on the ground around here. Anyways, what does that have to do with anything? Who the hell knows? I'm just trying to talk myself out of a deep, dark pit that I'm in. Um, yeah, I don't know if it can be done. I mean, I know I gotta, like, force myself to get up, walk on a bad leg, get something to eat, and um, I should probably do it now. Hopefully, this isn't offensive to anybody. I gotta be up at like 7 o'clock in the morning. It's 12:47. So I'll take a blood pressure pill. We'll leave the other thing alone. And one of the volume while I'm doing this. And, hopefully this isn't like smoking in front of somebody that's trying to quit smoking, but I really can't put that off any longer. Um, it's just 10 milligrams of volume. It's not like a heavy dose. But if I eat something, maybe I can doze a little bit after I'm done with whatever this is going to turn into be. Good Lord, how can this be 53 minutes already? Man, I just like moved my. Yeah. Well, anyways, I put them on in the other video. I'm sitting there being modest and stuff now. You notice in the other video where I was like talking to or talking about my aunt and making that pretty much like, this is it type of video. This is the truth. Um, I didn't bother covering up at all. I noticed that when I re-looked at it, and I'm like, man, if I really want to be a bastard, I can send that to that. But this is the under wrap, and to this Muay Thai glove, and this is the over wrap. So I'll just put on this part of it, the Muay Thai glove, and this is like a bit snug without the wrap underneath. Which this is like your under glove. It's got like gel that's supposed to protect your knuckles, and this is just like standard padding or whatever. So I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Buying stuff from Asian countries. I am not large. I am extra large in Asia. I am just large in the United States. So I got stuff that doesn't fit. But anyways, I put this glove on, and I was like started cutting the circulation off on my hands, and I don't remember how many days ago this was. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna test this out and see what that door is made of to to my room here. So I went over. I did a test punch hitting the door. Because I said that I was, everybody says like, oh, they can do this or they can do that. I said, can I just make a video of me hitting something? I can show you the metal piece that I broke off the chair. I mean, I don't know why anybody would think I would be like making stuff up. Why would I be bragging about stupid crap like that anyway? Um, I don't believe in fighting. I'm a peaceful person. I hadn't thrown a punch in earnest like I told um, the war vet guy before I punched the front door in like 20 to 30 years. I don't even remember. Fighting is stupid. Physical fighting is it's dumb. Punching things stupid. But it was just a natural gift that I had that I could always had like a heavy punch. So I put this thing on and I test punched the door, you know, just to see. I was like, well, this door is pretty solid because it looks solid. This isn't no panel is going to pop out of this thing. It's like, but I probably should be able to do some damage to it, and not. I never paid any deposit here, so I won't lose my deposit. So I could do whatever I wanted to this place. It wouldn't matter. I don't even think that would. It doesn't even show up as a criminal act. If you just leave a place totally trashed. If you're stealing like copper piping and stuff, maybe it's different. But I'm digressing. So I hit the door once to test it, and then I just let loose, and I really hit it. And I don't know. It's weird, but it bent inward, right? So my I hit square like you're supposed to, you know, and but the door just bent inward, and it bent inward, and my knuckles were exposed, so it pushed the door in, and it scraped like I skinned all my knuckles, all four of them, and this is a few days ago. Put that away from the microphone so it's not loud. But yeah, I just peeled the skin off of them, but this one bled a little bit, but I don't know if you can see that red where the skin's missing. Um, but the other ones are fine. But I didn't think about that. When I hit the door, I was like, now I have to do it on camera until I said I would. It's like next time I'm gonna be putting some band-aids, or maybe I'll look at a video how to wrap a hand properly. But no, my fingers are fine. I didn't hurt my hand at all or anything like that because the door like gave. But it's not satisfying unless you break it or crack it or do something to it. I mean, at least put a dent in the security door outside. It's like this door is like a bend but don't break defense. It's like the prevent defense, um, which has lost so many football games. But it's like bend but don't break, man. It's yeah, the knuckles still sting a little bit where the door actually hit. But I'm not stupid. I'm not gonna break my hand. No, that guy's out there punching concrete and shit. Besides beating up the house. Um, but no, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't know it was a good idea for me to get on here and being making snorkeling noises into the microphone. That's good. But being like I am, you know, like like using metaphors like the events of my life are shovels full of dirt, and I'm in a deep fucking hole of depression, and they just keep piling in the dirt. Or like that movie Cool Hand Luke, where they keep making him dig the hole until they already beat the crap out of him and shit. And that's what finally breaks him is they make him dig. They push him past the point of physical exhaustion to where they're like The captain wants you to dig this hole, and then when he digs the hole, and the guy comes out and says, "What's all this dirt doing in my yard? Get rid of this." And then he's gonna fill back in the hole, and he keeps making him do it until it breaks him. You know. And my dad did something like that to me when I was young, where he made me cut the grass like over and over again because I wasn't doing a good enough job. It's like I must have admit. It's like I don't know how many times I cut the backyard, but you know, this is weird because I have no memory of what happened after, which is probably not a good sign. But I do remember what I said to him. I said, "If I can't do it right, why don't you do it yourself?" After about the fourth time of cutting the same grass, it's like um, are you gonna like keep torturing me over like what? What are you doing? Are you like going out there and like running your hand over the whole yard? Oh, you missed the blade of grass. I mean, but I have no memory of what happened after that, which is disturbing. Um, so, but yeah, that he was cool hand Luke and me, man. Just like yeah, dig that hole, fill it in, cut that grass, cut it again. No, you missed some grass, cut it again, do it right. I mean, excuse me, I have a very high IQ. I think I can handle cutting grass. So I don't even know what that was about. But you know, I, I just relate to that movie, Cool Hand Luke. The whole thing. I wanted that War of It to check it out, you know, because I probably didn't watch it close enough to pick up on the subtleties in it. But the guy's a war vet, and he's just like angry, and anger is like very deep seated. He's also a nonconformist type of dude. So at the beginning of the movie, he damages municipal property is what he got convicted for 2 years on a road gang for, because he was just chopping the heads off of parking meters, just doing random vandalism while he was being drunk. You know, um, and he's just really angry and punishing himself is what's really going on in that movie. So I was like, yeah, this is not only a great movie that anybody who likes movies should see. I was like, you haven't seen Cool Hand Luke. Are you serious? So I bought it for him for $4. But this is like something like that's the purpose of art is like to reach people in different ways. You know, there's a whole Christ theme that runs through it, which they tip off in the I can eat 50 eggs. I can eat 50 eggs. I can't do Paul Newman. But, you know, after he's done eating the eggs and the people use him for their entertainment and torture him and stuff like that, he lays on the table with his arms out and his feet crossed in, you know, a crucifixion pose, tipping off the theme of the movie. Not really necessary, but just in case people don't get it. And there's a lot made in the movie about him uh, being an atheist or not believing in God. And there's a part in there where, like, you know, there's a thunderstorm with lightning strikes all over the place, and he's taking his time getting in the truck. And one guy's like, "You don't mess with the man upstairs. What are you doing, Luke? Get in the truck." You know, and he's like, "Go ahead and hit me. Do something. Just let me know you're there. Just let me know you're there." You know, he's like begging to be hit by lightning, which is also part of his self-destructive theme of the movie. But then he puts his arms down and he says, "Just like I thought, just me standing here in the rain talking to myself." Um, you know, which the prison guards took offense at the fact that his movie's made in 1968, so you're talking 50 years ago. So let's just say, who's the Hitchens guy that's dead now? let's just say Hitchens was probably 15 years old at the time or whatever. Dawkins, or all the people that popularized atheism. So it was a pretty strong statement for the time. Uh, anyways, yeah, I don't want to be cool handed, man. I don't want to be self destructive. But it just gets old, man. It just gets really old when things just don't go your way. And it's really rough when you watch yourself trying and trying and trying, and then you see these other people with fixable problems around you that could get help, that could, you know, that are not trying, you know, that could deal with their issues, that could face their issues, but they don't try. They don't go to the doctor. They don't seek help for their head. They don't, you know, they don't even try to, you know, my foster brother got COPD, and I've been thinking evil, of course, lately. So I'm thinking, like, you know, if I have a conversation with them, I just tell them, you're living with your future, because he's living with two people that had strokes and heart attacks and live that kind of lifestyle where you're putting all that tar in your lungs through marijuana and heavy tobacco use, high stress life because you're not dealing with your emotional issues, and you know, there's some hatred there. I can't deny that. You know, it's like, I don't know what, I kept it cool. I was texting him even though he was pissing me off royally to the point where I'm breaking metal. But if at some point there's going to have to be that conversation where it's like, you gotta let him know, like we're done. There's no relationship here. Whatever was here, whatever we had, I mean, it died. We might have grew up as kids together. And I used to look forward to you coming over and us having fun together. But you just went one way and I went another way. And there's nothing here really to say or to worry about. Anyways, then why am I grieving for it? You know, I'm grieving for an idea that I had, that like I could reconnect with those happy memories of childhood, since I've had such a rough time of it, and go fishing with them and have a buddy, have a friend, and someone that I looked forward to seeing, and that person didn't even exist. You know, it'd be easier if I, you know, it'd be easier if I could just cry. It'd just be much easier. I mean, I did like do my version of crying over that thing in that one video, but I mean, it's like I said, it's like I'm in mourning, and I have stuff to deal with in life. I don't have time for added nonsense like dealing with people ruining my boats, taking money out of my pocket, and dealing with the signing custody for people who to keep them out of jail, um, and alcoholics, and you know, I even got the tobacco hook, the tobacco demon. Did not smoke a cigarette today. Bummed one cigarette yesterday off of the neighbor guy who's just got back from Chicago on a truck run. He drives semi, and you know, I bought gum. Gum didn't work. You know, I was like, every time you want a cigarette, chew gum. But this Warbeck guy got me smoking because he would. I just kept telling him like, stop, stop. I don't want any cigarettes. Stop, stop. You know, and he just don't listen. Drunk people don't listen. throwing cigarettes in my printer and stuff. And then, like, when I gave him the TV, I felt at least a modicum of gratitude and gave me a whole pack of cigarettes. He said, "Well, let's just hold on to them for me." And I smoked about, I don't know, half the pack or whatever. Gave it to him the next day, and he goes, "Whoa," you know. And I was like, "I told you, I'm an addict. I got a problem, you know. Like, I don't throw beer at you." But yeah, I don't need, that's the last thing I need, because I'm already like my cardio is already horrible to start up with that tobacco demon. Because man, he's got all the moves, you know. He is skilled, man. He is multifaceted, talented, combatant. He is Marvelous Hagler. And you get in the ring with him, man. It is it is a tough road to hoe. And yeah, and I wanted some cigarettes today. I want one right now just talking about it. It's like that thing don't ever go away. Just another reason to get out of here, like I said. Yeah. I know a lot of people that have had worse lives than me, believe it or not. Like, there ain't nothing like growing up without feeling loved. I at least felt loved. I know people that grew up with in loveless households, like just you know. And then there's other people I know that grow up in, where there's like heavy drug use in the house, where there's like Lifetime movie shit going on because of the heavy drug use, and some of that I went into. Um, then there's always the question of like how much slack can you cut people for the way they were raised? I mean, at what point are you like I, I still actually feel that surprises me, but I still actually feel some affection for my father. It's weird, you know, but I think it's because he always kept me fed, and I knew I wasn't going to get thrown out of the house like ever. It was like the opposite. It was like a fight to get out of there. Um, he just wasn't equipped. So I always cut him some slack for that, even though it turned evil in 2003, and I didn't speak to him until his uh, death. And I didn't speak to him until his death. I didn't speak to him, and he died in 2015, so that's like 13 years. Um, I still feel some affection for him just because you can kind of understand where people come from on things and why they are the way they are. And since your personality gets so formed at so young of an age, it's like, for instance, when I'm like very trepidatiously texting this one person on the phone this morning, I'm like, this is, yeah, I'm fighting Marvin Hagler, man. I better cover up a little bit, keep the head moving. Um, yeah, I knew I was going to probably get some jabs because I got a wicked jab. I was going to get some jabs or some blame thrown my way one way or another. It's like I don't understand. Like there's a time for criticism and critiquing somebody, and you can actually do good that way. But there's other times where you somebody's hurting, and you're just supportive to them. You know, you're just like you don't go there, and then there's other times where you're like, look, this is where you're fucking up. But yeah, I know that person very well, and I know the way they were raised and who they were raised by. So um, I knew, I knew, I kind of expected it. I would have been shocked if I didn't get some shit thrown my way. You know, uh, what we got here? 110. The video is an hour and 15 minutes long. Well, Mason says I have the gift of gab. If that means that I can string together words endlessly, I can certainly do that. I cannot say that I find myself all that interesting much of the time because I use myself as a sleeping pill. I watch one of my videos to go to sleep. It's like, bore the hell out of myself. So, but yeah, they say stuff like, you can't be too depressed if you can manage a smile or crack a smile or laugh or whatever. And it's like, I haven't been able to force myself to eat anything but 2 English muffins in 24 hours. I think that counts as a pretty severe depression. Um, you know, it's circumstances, though. It's not like clinical depression. Your brain chemistry is your brain chemistry. I don't know I don't know much about clinical depression other than that my younger brother has it, and I've seen it up close and personal and ugly. And the depression that's based in logic, which is sort of like what I had, where it's like, hey, you got a shitty life. Of course you're gonna feel shitty. Of course you're gonna feel anxious about your future. If you have a disease that's doing nasty things to your body, and I have an ulceration, like it's just a big thing where your skin just leaves your body, and you know, you want to look at something gross, you can go look that up on the internet, like CRPS ulceration. The bad ones have like a big scab in the middle of them, and then like a ring of like raw flesh around them. This isn't a bad one so far. It's just in a place that it's not a good place for it to be. I'm just gonna say that and nothing more. Let your imagination do the work, because I come from a genteel, uh, sort of a Victorian background, and we do not speak of such unseemly matters as various parts of our personage. It's absolutely absurd to even do so. It's ill mannered, it's rude, and sir, I will not do that. But the way things, like, when you got a bad run of luck, like, you get those highs and lows in there too. Like, it's like I scored that scooter for so cheap, and then I smashed it into a car, and it accelerates like at an insane rate, and it has 40 on a speedometer. Why in the fuck would a handicapped cripple scooter have 40 on a speedometer? You know, so it hauls ass apparently. I mean, they're supposed to top out at 20. And they're supposed to be the fastest mobility scooter around. Okay, and I got it for $565 delivered, and with a tarp to put over it if I could store it outside, which would be like completely idiotic if I did that in this neighborhood. Um, but I get that. I'm like, yes, okay, yes. Now I could even go and see my brother, man, in another city with this thing. It's got a 45-mile life on the battery. You know, my brother lived like 8.5 miles away. It's like shit, I can take this thing anywhere. It's like off road, and I'm all happy about it. And then I can't really use it safely, and I give myself a deep thigh bruise, which I just have the lingering pattern of it on my leg left. And smashed into a car that turns out to be a junker, thank goodness, with it, so that was depressing, and I'm not going out on that thing again. I mean, not unless I'm in a parking lot and I can figure it out, the maneuverability of it. Um, a sad but interesting thing that happened today was the guy next door in a wheelchair was asking me to look out for a package that he got. So I was able to pull my sorry ass out of bed like 5 o'clock in the afternoon because my word means something, and I said I'd look for a guy's package. So it finally came. So I opened it and I seen his package out there, and I seen the mail had come for me too. And I was like, well, I'll get the mail. And then text him about his package because he said, let me handle it, you know. And I was like, okay, you don't want me handling it. I was like, because it's heavy. Okay, you're the boss. So by the time I look out the window and hobble over to the door, he had already scooted outside on his wheelchair. And I opened the door without looking, and I interrupted him trying to put it on his lap, and he dropped it in surprise. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to grab my mail and tell you that that was out there. And, I don't remember what he said or if he said anything. But then he was trying to put it back on his lap, and he dropped it again. He buys like bottles of water, so it could weigh as much as 30 to 50 pounds. Um, so he drops it on his foot, and I'm like, oh my god, I hope you didn't hurt your foot, and he's clearly embarrassed, and me being a cripple as well, I know that embarrassment and stuff, and glad that, I'm like, will I be a help or a hindrance if I hold the door for you? And he goes, it'd probably be a help, so I held the door, but I was kind of in his way. And then he was like, I got it, I got it, I got it. He's the nicest guy in the world. And plus, it was probably because he had all that weight on him, and it's harder than hell to get up that ramp, which I figured that out personally. And my foot was in the way, and I said, well, let me get out of the way. And I got out of the way, and he rolled in the house and said, thank you, sir. And I said, absolutely. And nothing else was said or texted. I knew he just wanted to be left alone. And I know that shame of being physically incapacitated, and how I know he hated fumbling that package in front of me. And there was people outside too. And empathetic soul that I am, and having been in wheelchairs before and had been fortunate enough to work my way out of them. Um, yeah, that wasn't exactly a fun for me either to be a part of that. It's like I just wanted to tell him that the package was there. He just got out there before me. Um, yeah, when he moved in here, I was like, man, it's either gonna motivate me or depress the living fuck out of me. It's gonna remind me that that could be your future right there if you don't walk, if you don't keep walking. At the time, I did not know that I had a Baker cyst when it just first started developing, and I was walking like I don't know, pretty good distances, but with a cane and in pain. I didn't know I had a Baker cyst, and it was just starting to develop. And I would think about him in a wheelchair sometimes. Kind of be a motivating factor. Um, yeah. What do you think? Is there any way to end anything like this? Is there any end to? I honestly don't believe that there can be any end to the depth of human misery. Having experienced so much of it myself, that yeah, I could just keep going. And um, I, I, at some point, you just, you know, I inherited that from my mother. Okay, I can kick like a mule with this right hand. That's what I got from my father. I got the temper. I don't really look like my father. My father looked like a Native American, more or less. I mean, I don't have any pictures of like it. Period. I got like one picture in the house of that's a family picture, and it's of me holding up a carp. I had two, but the other one, I put a frozen jug of water by it, and it ruined the picture. But I should, if I can get over to my brother's house, I should get some pictures, and get a picture of my father when he was like. There's this picture of my father when he was 55, and he was like, he's older than me, and he was like holding on to this, steadying. I think he was steadying a log while I was sawing it or something. But you should have seen the guns on this guy when he was 55. Good lord, because he's a very powerful man until he started having the heart attacks and strokes, even into his older age. Um, I wouldn't want to mess with him until he had those strokes and heart attack. I won't want to mess with him at the age of 60. Frankly, if I was just some young dude, didn't know, especially if I didn't know shit about fighting or violence, I didn't want to think about that stuff. But yeah, that's an interesting picture, because I remember that picture. I don't know if I have any pictures where he doesn't look anything like me. You know, it's like I look like my mother. I don't look. I don't look like him at all. He had like a pointy nose and high cheekbones, and just I look absolutely nothing like him. Um, God, this has got to be boring. Is this boring? I mean, it's got to be boring to people. You know, maybe that's what I am. I could be like a human sleeping pill to people. I could have this nice, like, calming, mellifluous voice, and they can listen to me, and they can be like, "Boy, Lisa ain't that son of a bitch," and go to sleep and think happy thoughts. Hey, yeah, that's my mission. I took my pills, and that means I got to get off here pretty soon because you got to try to go to sleep when they peak. The blood pressure pill and um, the Valium kind of work together, and then you get this peak where you can go to sleep. But I got to get some food in my belly and attempt that. And yeah, um, maybe it's not such a bad idea to talk, even if you're just like I said, it's like I'm in a cave and life is all the rocks above me. It's like I gotta push this all the way and push, dig, and I just feel like that's a claustrophobic's metaphor. Cave in. It's like perfect. I didn't even think about that. That's yeah. It's because I'm a claustrophobic. Somebody taking a shower at 1:25 in the morning. But anyways, there's no way to end something like this. I just want the misery to end. I just want. It's not like it's not like don't have positive things happening in my life. It's just like, it's sort of like, um, I got no metaphor for you. I was going to use a boxing metaphor, but it's sort of like landing a jab and then taking a left hook in return. You know, it's like it it's like the scooter thing, like getting a great deal on that scooter and then not being able to use it, running it into a car, and like it's not safe until I can get it somewhere, and then having nobody that I can't rely on. That's one of the reasons why I'm about to war at the PlayStation. I was like, this isn't a gift. We're gonna make a trade. But if you got somebody that's ooey bluey out of their freaking minds on substances and just goes MIA and all that, it's like that was just another dumb idea. Um, because he wants to do stuff when he wants to do it. You know, you ain't moving him. And then yeah, that's the last fucking thing I need. And then he's gonna be drunk and try to jump on it when he's drunk. I mean, I don't know if I have to be insured with the medical scooter, but the last thing I need him doing is hopping on that thing drunk and stuff like that. So that was just a dumb, poorly thought out idea. Uh, I don't know. Yeah, it's nice that we live in a compassionate country and a compassionate society where they try to help people like me with these medical scooters, and then like AIDS coming in, and then like I get free copay on my medications, and I appreciate that fully about this country, that we live in that type of society. And if I was, I'd be dead or eating out of trash cans or something in certain other countries. And before FDR came along and GR, General Relief, and during the Depression, which my uncle lived through, the World War II vet that died a few years ago in his 90s. Um, he remembers hobos and drifters, and he remembers what they called Hoovervilles, and that fascinated me. Like this park that I would always fish in, he was driving with him, and he's like, this area right here. And he named off, I forget what year, and he said it was nothing but a bunch of tents and makeshift um, shelters made out of like boards and sheet metal and stuff. They call them Hoovervilles. And he said he can remember like his people knocking on the door and just asking for a sandwich. And he can remember eating out of garbage cans himself. And he remembers in 1922, story I've told before, where the waters of Atwood Lake got really low, and which meant all the fish were concentrated. So people were going down there with 22s and shooting carp and pulling them out of the water and eating carp, which is not exactly a great food fish because of the starvation. And I said that must have been something to see. And I think he said something like, "See, I was one of the guys shooting them." You know, 19 1922 is when he was born, so this would be like 1937, before he went into the war. So I screwed that up. He was born in 1922. Um, yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. But yeah, it's nice to live, and it's nice that in many ways the human race has improved if you think about it. Uh, the racial nonsense continues, but it's not like it was. Even in my lifetime when I was growing up. When I grew up in an all white neighborhood, and I never had any issues like getting along with so-called black people or whatever because I don't think of them as black people. I just think of them as another person, another pain in the ass. And I just you come in there with that mindset, and like I've told that story before where people don't have that mindset and they think everything's about their race and like my dad used to like yell at me. My dad being my dad, that something that never leaves you. So he'd yell at me if I didn't lock the car door. So I locked the car door at the laundromat. Offended like three black dudes because they thought that I was locking the door on account of them for some fucked up reason. And they sat in the car and waited for me to come out and beat the living fuck out of me. But I was in the laundromat dealing with another situation, and the owner of the car came out. And one of them said, "You tell that white boy if we want to get in this car, we'll just flip it over." And it's like I wasn't thinking about nothing at all. Literally not thinking about anything. That was just like a reflex taught to me from childhood. So I don't. That's people that are thinking race, race, race like all the time. Like I don't even think about that crap. I don't think about it. I remember after the Rodney King riots, that guy breaking a 40 at my feet, and like, what is this even about? I just walked around him, and I was like, why is this complete stranger starting shit with me? I don't fucking know why. It's like the Rodney King riots were going on, and I was walking through. I was a white guy walking through a darker skinned neighborhood. I just never just don't think about it, you know. Um, maybe sometimes maybe I think I should think about it if people are gonna be like that. But no, I don't think about it at all because, um, well, I don't want to go. I don't want to make this any longer. Like I said, I have to get off and eat and wait for that peak and try to catch a couple hours of sleep so I can smoke cigarettes with Am in the morning. I don't even know if we're gonna do anything. I don't have any. My I call my bank and it says I got like $36 in the bank and with a $60 deposit. I'm like, I don't understand banking very well. It's like that's not tabulating. It doesn't make any sense. I had $44 last Friday. I spent $7 over the computer on a card I couldn't pass up, and so it, it says that I have $36, and now it says I have a deposit of 60. Why do I have it? Why was $60 deposited today, and it still says I have a balance of 36? I don't understand banking or money or anything like that. So maybe tomorrow when I call, they'll be like, "You have $96 in the bank." And maybe I can do some shopping or whatever. I got $10 in the house. Um, I'll probably just sit there and talk to and smoke cigarettes. Hope Chris is still MIA. Oops, I said his name, but I've said it like a billion times. I don't know. Anyways, but just because a brooding presence in a, he's just sitting there like a brooding early morning presence. And we're sitting on the porch, talkers, while he's just brooding there, drinking his coffee and looking at his phone, looking at YouTube videos of people beating the fuck out of each other or whatever he does. I know he does a lot of that, but I don't know if that's what he's looking at while I'm talking to her, trying to concentrate on what she's saying because she got some crazy shit going on in her life. Um, but yeah, uh, just stuck in bed rambling. Horrible, man. Freaking horrible. I never thought like cleaning house would be something that I would long to do. I would long to like go through this house and clean it up and be able to do that just to be in the kind of physical condition I was in when I moved into this place with my misbegotten dreams, my illusions that I held on to. I mean, I was encouraged in those illusions, you know, like like I said, like the guy bought a boat for my dad, was talking about us going boating, and then he hooked me up with this deal for a boat, and then like, well, you gotta pay for like the tag and the license and stuff if I plunk down the 1,500 because that's a lot of money for the boat. He's like, okay, okay, and then after 3 years of waiting to go out on the water, I just kind of gave up on keeping his word, and I wasn't gonna nag him about it because you either keep your word or you don't keep your word, and um, so it wasn't like it's just all just popped out of my head. Really, it was just a natural course of events. What come from it just came from inside my head was the illusion that I had of this person being different than what he was, and um, having a little more honor and integrity than what he had. And it seems like I can remember like moments, like there was like I've said this before, but there was like a trout derby, at the at this pond. I'm like, why don't we go down there and just sit? He's like, I don't want to go. I'm like, well, we're just sitting here in the house in this smoky basement. Why don't we get outside and we can sit in chairs, be outside? And he's like, don't want to do it. I don't want to drive. He didn't want to drive and then walk because that's what he cared about. That's what he felt. But he was with a girl. I have no idea why. Named Heidi, and then he didn't smoke weed for like a year. But then after I don't know why or how she kept him sober. She was like as appealing as a wet sock to me, and she never talked. And I didn't understand any of that. But anyways, he was sober while he was with her, but then he went back to his first love, and that's why he didn't want to drive. He didn't want to drive all fucked up. I was like, I used to go down there. I used to sit and wait for us to do something, and it would always just be watching him getting high, smoking cigarettes, making those good memories, of watching them TV shows. Boy, uh, yeah, I don't know, I don't know. Like I don't know if I can go back. People don't change at our age, though, man. We're both 50-year-olds. It's like if he could, like, it's it's stupid. It's stupid for me to even think that. But if he could, like, see the light, you see this shit in movies all the time, but it doesn't really happen in real life. You know, he's made it pretty clear that I'm just someone he can borrow money off of. That's it. And annoy him about a boat that he made promises with. That's pretty much all I am. You know, I remember like the first time that I got cardioverted. Um, it was really touching to me because he ran immediately to the hospital. I think this is when I was 36, though. But he ran immediately to the hospital, and his mom told me, like, he was sitting there watching me sleep. You know, he wanted to be there in case I died or something, or I don't know. He just wanted to be there. You know, he never said nothing about it. His mom said that yeah, he said he sat there for like 2 hours and you were just out cold. He didn't want to wake you up just to talk to you. And I'm sure like he thinks he loves me, and that that did touch me. That was touching. That he did that because I mean, as soon as he heard about that, he dropped everything and he ran to the hospital. That's kind of the person that I knew. I'll make myself cry here in a minute. That when I was growing up, we were like fucking that. Then I got the spinal tumor, and he fell in love with the weed and the drugs and the drinking, and I wasn't so much fun to be around, I guess. But I remember that from when I was 36, and yeah. So I know he's got to have some kind of feeling left in there for me. It's got to be something left. I mean, but it's he's just pushed me past the point where I just can't stand him. You know, I can't stand him. I just yeah. You still want it to be different. You want it to be different, but you have to face up to the reality of it. And it's like this life is not no goddamn movie, man. It's like it's not going to be different. I've been here 10 years. You know, I remember so many times going over there waiting for us to do something interesting when I could walk and stuff. When I was healthy and strong comparatively, and just him being just like beat down after work, you know, just laying around. I remember like begging to take the boat out, you know, to the point where his girlfriend was there and she found it so pathetic. Her name was Joyce. She was like, just take the man fishing, you know. So it was to the point of patheticness because I was like, I gotta have a day scheduled. I mean, I can't go on a whim. We have to schedule a day, because he wants to go on a whim, maybe get the buzz on. And like today, in the next hour, I'm gonna go fishing, and yeah, I've got like health problems and sleeping issues, and like you got to give me a day where I can be prepared for it. He would never like set a day to go. But yeah, man, it just kills me. I mean, it just fucking kills me. Um, and I'm such a fucking sucker that I don't, you know, I can't go back. I can't go back. I mean, the truth is the truth, and reality is reality. And this might be some kind of wake up call for him, or it might be like, who gives a shit, you know? It might be like a wake up call for him, like man, maybe I should be a better person. Why am I even thinking like that? It sounds retarded coming out of my mouth. I should get off of here, man. Mm. Ah, yes, us Victorian types find it very unseemly to struggle through our difficult emotions publicly, and it is not considered cricket. But anyways, my belly is just yelling at me to eat. So I'm gonna do that. And nobody will hurt you or cut you like your friends or family. You gotta let people get inside before they can really do any damage to you. But if you don't let people inside, you got nothing. You got nothing. You got no reason to live. You're living. What kind of life would that be? If like you just presented a false self to people, and you were just like, um, you're like that one girlfriend he had, which I remember now. She was 4'7". I don't remember what size her foot was, but that's why 4'7" come out in this one video that you probably never saw anyway. But I was like, yeah, she was 4'7", man. I was like, that's gotta be a borderline fidget, gotta be, man. But like, she was like walled off to the point where like he was with her for a while, and I had many conversations with her, all surface, meaningless conversations. Whatever her real self was, there was like the a brick wall there. There was a bunker. It wasn't a brick wall. It was like a bunker where herself was. It's like, what is life if you don't let people in? But if you let people in, then there's a they can hurt you, and I'm hurt. And it's gonna take me some time to heal, and there's no way to fix this, man. I don't see it getting fixed. I don't see anything that he could do that could make this better, you know, or, or, or redeem the situation in some way. And some of you, some of you two people that are still here, may be thinking like, "Oh, this guy's playing the role of God," like being judge, jury, and executioner. Well, I don't know if I could argue with you or not. 'Cause I think the pills are starting to kick in, and I'm screwing things up as far as that situation. But maybe it is like high and mighty to just say like, "Oh, you're dead to me. You no longer exist. There's no way you can redeem yourself from what you've done." Um, maybe that's not up to me, you know. Or maybe that's the stupid fucking hopeful streak in me wanting things to be different when and not accepting the reality of what is. That Pollyanna, Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm part of me that just that I got from my mom, that hopeful streak. Like, I don't know. I I think this really is the way he wants it, you know, subconsciously. I think this is just another case of getting out of the way of the tree. I'll tell you what, this falling tree, when he starts having heart attacks or strokes or whatever, this falling tree is just going to do the same thing to him. You're going to catch me in no hospital at his bedside, even though he did that for me when I had a heart attack. There's too much stuff has gone down in that intervening 15 years. I don't know. I'm clearly confused and conflicted about the whole thing. So um, yeah, it's time to go. And I, there's no reason for me. I always feel like apologizing sometimes. Always, sometimes. Okay, it's definitely time to go. But yeah, it's like sometimes I feel like apologizing, but I understand that nobody has to watch this. And frankly, there's I don't know what kind of movies they put out nowadays, but this is when you're talking about a movie length type of thing like this. Um, there's probably better ways to spend your time than to listen to somebody struggle with being in a cave in an emotional uh, pit of despair and just conflicted about. Um, I thought about answering the phone and like being like, I don't talk to ghosts, or if he texts me like, I don't talk to ghosts, and be like, what? I'm like, you're dead to me, so I don't talk to ghosts, man. I think you know, I'm gonna try not to be haunted by you. You know, I, I got that writer thing where I like to think these things out, you know. Um, but I'm trying not to be haunted by you, but you're a ghost. I will be haunted, you know. It's just so many memories of my life is like tied up with him. It's like the same thing with my father. It's like my father is never going to be dead to me because it's just too much of your life gets tied up with him. And to me, you know, I think time. I'm not going there either about time being perception and about the um, how on some level I believe that time doesn't exist. That it's just a perception that we have, and all these philosophical concepts and whatnot. I mean, I know that I'm seriously twisted, conflicted, and messed up and depressed at this moment. And I just know that there's something in me that just doesn't want to quit. You know, there's enough pills in this house to kill me 14 times over. I mean, I got like 90s Xanax. I got like shit. It's got to be 150 of those Doxepin sleeping pills, which are an excellent suicide pill. But I don't want to quit. You know, universe keep throwing that shit on me. You know, keep shoveling that shit on me, man. Whatever. I don't want to quit. You know, it's got to turn around. And if it doesn't turn around, I have to go back to the cool hand loop thing and just be like, what we have here is a failure to communicate. And he gets shot and dies at the end. And whatever's going on between me and the universe, there's some sort of failure to communicate because I'm trying my ass off to be a good dude. And, and I'm trying under some of the most difficult circumstances imaginable. CRPS, highest rated chronic pain disease on the planet. 33 years. I'm hanging in there. I'm still have enough heart left to like try to help this dude who is like a total pain in the ass because I know the things that happened to him and I know that he's wounded and I'm still giving him giving him stuff, just you know, being kind to him, you know, spending time with him, you know. It's just like I said, man, it's just some kind of sort of failure to communicate between me and the universe. Like what? do you fucking want? And then thoughts come into my head like, there's a biblical saying like, if God is for us, who can be against us? What if you flip it around and you say, if God is against you, what the fuck can you do about it? That's what you feel like sometimes. It's like, what is it that I have to do to turn this around, to make this better? You know, it's just the way things have to be. It's like I have to go down hard, and then I have to suffer rejection, and it's just I don't know. I'm just I don't know what I'm. What do you want? What am I not doing right? Like I'm trying my ass off here. I really am. You know, I can't I can't get surgeons who like money to operate on a knee to help me out. I pay my brother $200 to clean the house because it's a nice gesture, and I get bed bugs for it, which means I can't ever get my house cleaned again. Uh, I get a scooter, and the acceleration is too much. My government scooter that I'm supposed to get that is slow, there's hang up after hang up. It's just I've been trying to get it since last December. I just can't get it. You know, it's another call I have to make. It's like, and then like I I offer this other person, like I was like if you want me to, I can help you. I can take you to this place, and you can get um, psychiatric help. And they also offer housing possibilities. And then they just like more or less aren't ready. They didn't really stab me in the back too hard. I did have some crack dealers outside my house, but that's not, you know, I guess that sort of stabbed me in the back. I ended up with a crack dealer parked outside my house and, blowing my stack. It's like, I wonder how much of this, you know, I don't expect to live past 60, frankly. I'll be shocked. It's like, it's just a lot of stuff. And then, like, the thing with the, the the boat sale being filed and being disrespected that deeply to where somebody isn't even looking out for your property. I just can't, you know. I can see the humor in that though. Like, oh boy, I can't wait to buy this boat. This guy's name, I think, is something with a K, like Kevin or Ken. And then, like, my foster brother opened it up, and there was like a bunch of fucking brackish water in the bottom of it. It's a fucking mess. And there's like probably bugs swimming in the water, like those organ bugs. And, you know, and yeah, I don't, I don't know. I have to try. I have to keep moving, you know. I wrote something about it. If I had it, I don't have it committed to memory. But it was something like I'm a marble spinning around the drain. I don't know what keeps me going, whether it's inertia or that law of motion where objects that are in motion tend to stay in motion, but I'm just swirling like a marble rolling around a drain. And there's no end or there's no catch in these pipes if I fall down that drain. I don't, that's just like, that's not what I wrote. What I wrote is, of course, much better. But I wrote it when I was like 30 years old, and it's like, I'm living it now. It's like when I was 30 years old, I was a bushy-tailed squirrel, just full of life and hope and vitality. And my God, all the things I've been through, man, and now I can write, and things have got to turn around for me. And then, like, I start digging around in my psyche. It's one of the reasons why I believe that time doesn't really exist. Just a perception, is because I dug around so deep that I found my future and wrote it down. I'm gonna leave you there. I mean, it's just enough already. I gotta eat and try to go to sleep. Well, God bless you for hanging around as long as you have. If you hung around through all this, I will be puzzled about why. But if you don't believe in God, then just thank you.